Welcome to the Pool Remodel Pros podcast. I'm your host, James Cawthorn. In this podcast, we discuss everything related to the pool remodeling. Today, we have two guests joining us, Scott Raze, CEO of Allen Smith Pools, and Jeff Smith, the company's president. Today, we'll be discussing some of the most common questions residents, landlords, and associations have when considering a pool remodel. Let's dive right in. Why do permits take so long to process?
It depends on the scope of work that you're choosing to do. Some projects are more involved than others, so they require more during the design process. Then they might have to go to an engineering department or a structural engineer, or soils engineer. That all takes time. And then once all that is compiled, then it goes to the city or county for them to do their review. So depending on how many different hands have to touch it, it could be an over-the-counter permit, or it could take several months to get something processed, depending on the scope and how technical the improvement is in the city or county or agency that you're dealing with.
Anything to add, Jeff?
Yeah, when it comes to pulling permits, your question was why do they take as long as they do to process? Well, every city's different too. Some are faster than others. We do have a permit processing department, so we feel when we pull a permit, we give them what they want to see to make it go as fast as possible. We have pretty good track record with these cities. So our permits, yes, they can take long, but that's not due to us submitting something incorrectly or not knowing the lay of the land, though. They can take a long time to process also because they're backed up at the city.
Mhm.
They could have several projects. It could be the time of year. It could be they're adjusting to a new system. A lot of them have been going online now, so that there's eventually it'll go faster, but sometimes moving to the digital age has slowed down some of these cities. Pretty knowledgeable. We know roughly how long it'll take. Hey, this city is over the counter. This city over here, we know it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks. So we factor that in our project scope and planning.
Yeah, so another reason where sometimes they don't do a full review of the plan. Depending on how busy they are, they'll review a portion of the plan and then submit that for corrections. And then once you've done the corrections, then they will review more and give you more corrections. A lot of times they're subbing the reviews out to independent contractors and inspectors or engineers. And so those engineers all have a different perspective. They all have a different way of looking at things. And what one person might not require, another person might. So, based on that review or how extensive their initial review is, many times there are one or more revisions to meet whatever those requirements are, which a contractor can't control. We can control what we know, but we can't control the different personalities and the different people that are going to be looking at it and how in depth they're going to take it.
I'm sure with both of your experience in the pool industry and the area you guys are in, you probably are able to provide some sort of estimates to whoever you're pulling a permit for based on the city and what the typical approximate plans that are similar to that project you pulled before about how long it's going to take, right?
Yeah, we can give them a general time frame, but like Jeff said, when the city gets backed up, some of our cities, it's a minimum of 30 days before they'll even look at it. So it really depends on the time of year, how many permits they're trying to process, how many people they have on staff, and that varies too. There's a lot of different factors. Everybody pushes as hard and as fast as they can. At the end of the day, you get something that's been approved by multiple divisions at the city. You have engineering, you have plan checkers, you have the building officials, you have the fire department. In some areas, you have the police department that has to look at it. Each one of those people has a stack of business that they're trying to do, and they're not just waiting for your job to come in. So, depending on how many hands have to touch it, it can take as little as a week, or like I said, it can take several months to process.
So thanks again, Jeff and Scott. Thanks for listening for our listeners to the Pool Remodel Pros podcast. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe for more insights on pool remodeling. See you next time.